Well, welcome everyone to the New Health Conversation podcast. My name is Peter Greenlaw. I've been a traditional nutritional researcher for more than 21 years. So happy to share all of this new information with you today. We're anxious to get going. Oops. Well, hello everyone. Thank you. This is the New Health Conversation podcast. I'm welcoming all of you to it. I hope you enjoy it. I'm a nutritional researcher for 21 years, and what I'm going to share with you today is all from my original content in 4 of my books that I've written, all with medical doctors. The first one's Why Diets Are Failing Us, and there's the TDOS syndrome, which stands for toxicity driven by nutritional deficiency, causing us to be overweight and stress, and then TDOS Solutions, which is the solution to TDOS, and then my 4th book called Your Third Brain, all written with medical doctors. At the New Health Conversation, here's what we do. We do not give you opinions. Opinions mean nothing to you. Shouldn't mean anything to you. They don't mean anything to me. I don't want you to believe me, but we're going to show you overwhelming medical evidence that we were able to do in everything that we had done and been able to discover over 21 years of research with some of the top medical doctors, researchers in the entire world. So I hope you really will enjoy this podcast. No opinions, only facts, okay? We're going to get into that in just a couple of minutes, and we're going to show you what's available in terms of peer-reviewed human trial studies. No opinions, okay? We're going to show you the real truth behind diets that we wrote about, especially in the first book, Why Diets Are Failing Us. It's all original content. It's not copied. I'm live. This is not a recording. I'm physically here live, so I just want you to know that. We're going to get into all of it for all of you. The thing is that with 80% of America overweight and 50% are obese, does anyone really believe that diets are working in any mad stretch of the imagination? You know, YouTube strength is good. All right, well, that's good. I'm glad something's working today. We've had technical problems in the past. So again, what I want to share with all of you, I want to really focus in on why diets are failing us. The book that I wrote, I can't believe it's been it was written in 2010. We've had a couple of new editions with new information. Good afternoon to you. Thank you very much for joining us. This is the New Health Conversation podcast. My name is Peter Greenlaw. I've been a nutritional researcher for 21 years. One thing that I'm proud of that we bring to you is we bring you absolutely real scientific proof, okay? And at any moment, I'm going to put this up here for everyone. The New Health Conversation is our free research site. You can go there without fear. We're going to contact you, that someone's going to twist your arm. There's nothing to buy there. All it is the medical proof why diets long-term are an abject failure. Not an opinion by us. We wrote about it in our 4 books. I have all 4 books here, just so you know. I'm not making anything up. And the idea here is to give you an opportunity to really see medical facts behind diets. With 80% of America overweight and 50% obese, does anybody really think that diets are working? You can see there, I'm called the researcher of the researchers. That's a perfect title for me. I didn't do the research, but I'm bringing it to you. Also at that research site, you can see the New Health Conversation. At any point, you can go there. It's free. There's no gimmicks. There's no tricks, et cetera. So let's get into it. Let's first start to sort of decouple all the notion out there that the only way to lose weight, according to all the influencers on social media, that the only way to lose weight is to lower calories. Well, we prove that to be completely debunked in our book, Why Diets Are Failing Us. So everything that I'm going to share with you, these are the studies that we referenced in the book, so you understand it's original research material that we've created. So let's start with the first one titled, I think you can read it, Why You Shouldn't Count Calories. Listen to this. Truth is, calorie counting is a terrible approach for weight loss. While counting calories and restricting calories can help you lose weight in the short term, the approach has never been proven to keep weight off long term. What's even worse, 2/3 of people who try to count and restrict their calories will gain back more weight than they lost. 2/3 of people gain back more weight than they lost. It's not an opinion on Peter Greenlaw's part, right? Now let's go to another one. This one now is Harvard Medical School. Stop counting calories. And what does she say here? The idea of a calorie in and a calorie out when it comes to weight loss is not only antiquated, it's just wrong, says Fatima Stanford, obesity specialist at Harvard Medical School. She goes on to say, drop the calories notion, says Stanford. It's time to take a different approach by putting the emphasis on what's in the calorie, not outside the calorie. Okay, let's go to a third one. This one is titled Don't bother counting calories. It's complete nonsense, okay? Now, inevitably, more than 95% of people will go back to their baseline weight, and many will go above it. They rebound back if they're doing any form of calorie-restricted diet. This is 3 studies. 4th one, this one right here, maybe you can read the title, Nutrition, Why Losing Weight Isn't About Counting Calories. They said, amid all the fad diets, calorie restriction continues to be a popular approach to weight loss. It turns out that cutting calories for weight loss is a misguided strategy that often leads to the more unintended weight gain over time. So there's 4 of them, okay? And we're going to show you even more medical evidence today. Look, and I don't want to disparage anybody. If you want to go on a diet and think that lowering calories is the way to lose weight, go for it. But the medical evidence now is clear. The medical evidence has changed their mind. They finally are agreeing with us. Why diets are failing us? Because the whole concept of counting calories is ridiculous, all right? You know, your body doesn't know what a calorie is. Why are you counting calories? Because someone told you to count calories. So let's have a different view, okay? Let's say, instead of using the word calorie, let's just talk about food intake or food consumption, okay? So when you want to lose weight, what are you really doing? You're lowering the amount of food you're consuming. But what's in food? Nutrition. When you lower nutrition, 2 incredibly unhealthy things happen, as we wrote about in my books. What are they? Number 1, you slow down your metabolism, what's called your basal metabolic rate. That's the rate at which you burn calories when you're sleeping, resting, sitting behind a desk. The second thing is even more horrible, and that is that you also interfere with your immune system. So you might fit in your skinny jeans, but number 1, you've slowed down your metabolism. Number 2, you're interfering with your own immune system. You come off that diet, that's why you're gaining all the weight back, which the experts are saying. Now, I'm going to contrast that, just a little sneak preview, what we talk about in the books. These are 7 new peer-reviewed human trial studies. Men and women, no one allowed to exercise. In this new protocol, which is not a diet, has nothing to do with counting calories, the men and women lost as much weight in 7 days as in 8 weeks of any diet. Not up for debate. It's in the studies, right? They lost as much weight in 30 days as a year on any of the major diets. And I'm going to show you the contrasting evidence from New England Journal of Medicine Center about diets after 12 months. But instead of losing water or losing lean muscle mass, which is normally what people say, oh, it's unhealthy to lose weight that fast on a diet. I would completely agree, okay? But what happened in the studies is the people, despite losing weight 12 times faster than any diet, they gained 6 to 9% lean muscle mass. Gained 6 to 9% lean muscle mass with no exercise allowed. But that's not even the reason to do it. The main reason to do it is to combat this. TDOS syndrome, which every one of you have, every person in the world has. What does it stand for? T is for toxicity. D is for nutritional deficiency. The O is for being overweight, and the S is for stress. In case you didn't know it, you're living in an incredibly toxic world. You're drinking, eating, and breathing these chemicals. Well, they're doing things to us, okay? Let's hear from one of the top toxicologists in the entire world, and here's what she's saying about, this is amazing, okay? No one's talking about this. I'm not bragging that it's me. It's not my research. I'm bringing you, because listen to this. Dr. Paula Bailey Hamilton is a medical doctor and is considered one of the world's leading authorities on toxic chemicals and their effects on our health. She believes that what appears to be happening is that our natural slimming system is being poisoned by toxic chemicals we encounter in our everyday lives. And this damage is making it increasingly difficult for our bodies to control their weight. The end result is that we gain weight in the form of fat and not lose not muscle, as chemicals tend to cause muscles to shrink and body fat to accumulate. These toxins are making you unhealthy. They're making you overweight. They're making all of it. That's how come 80% of Americans are overweight. Yeah, part of it's processed food. Part of it's nutritional deficiency. Part of it's we're not exercising enough. But can you imagine now something you have no control over? If you're breathing, drinking, eating, you're absorbing these chemicals. And those chemicals are entering your fat cells and causing them to expand. You know, in these peer-reviewed human trial studies, it wasn't about the weight loss. The weight loss was 12 times faster than any diet that I'm going to show you the real results of diets here in just a moment. But they, through blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis, they proved this was removing herbicides and pesticides from the human body, and the fat literally shrank. Keep in mind, imagine no exercise. They lost as much weight in 7 days as 8 weeks of any diet. Doesn't that make you a little bit curious? Again, back to my first book, why diets are failing us. Now let's talk a little bit more about chemicals in the body. This is a book, I didn't write it. It's a really good book. Hope you can read the title, The New American Diet. It was written by Stephen Perrin, editor-at-large at Men's Health. Listen to what they say about these chemicals that we're storing in the body. By the way, they have a name. When you hear this, they're called obesogens. They said that's a scary word and one you've probably never heard before. But if you want to lose weight and keep it off for good and protect your body, your family, and your environment in the bargain, you'll need to understand the term. Simply put, obesogens are chemicals that disrupt the function of our hormonal system, leading to weight gain and many of the diseases that curse the American populace. Obesogens are altering the function of our genes and essentially reprogram us to gain weight. Do you know anything about, do you understand no diet you're on is even in the same ballpark in terms of detox or even recognizing that we're storing these chemicals inside of us? It's not, this is what's going on, everybody. I mean, look at America. If 80% is overweight and 50% are obese, does anybody think that diets are working? Because they're not. Now let's look at some of the diets. Let's look at the actual evidence. I have here 1, 2, 3, 4 clinical studies on intermittent fasting. You've heard the big rage, for the past couple of years. As a matter of fact, that's one of the things about time-restricted eating, where you don't eat for 16 hours and eat for 8. Let me read, and here's the problem. Okay, let's read from the first study. It's titled "Intermittent Fasting and Popular Health Training, but is it safe for everyone?" Okay, so listen to this. But as promising as research is, it's important to keep in mind that a lot of it has been done on rats, which limits what we really know about what it can do for humans. According to Harvard Health, much of the research done on fasting in humans are shorter studies with small groups of people, so the results of those studies might not apply to most people. There's not much research on what's the potential effects of doing intermittent fasting can have on your health long term. Okay, that's the first one. Now let's go to the next one. This is in the Annals of Internal Medicine, one of the big medical journals. This was actually a 12-week trial, so it was 3 months. And the average weight loss in that time by doing time-restricted eating was about 5.2 pounds in 3 months, okay? Now, another one, this one is actually in the Annals of Internal Medicine. This was a 12-month study, time-restricted eating without calorie counting for weight loss. What did they say? They said after 12 months, the weight loss on intermittent fasting was 12 pounds in a year. In a year, ladies and gentlemen, okay? Let's keep going to the fourth study on intermittent fasting. This was done in the Journal of the American Medical Association. They said, Journal of the American Medical Association, new research found that overweight adults who were assigned to routinely fast 16 hours daily gained almost no benefit from it. And over the course of 3 months, they lost an average of 2 to 3.5 pounds. But most of the weight they shed was not body fat, but lean muscle mass. Compared to what we wrote about in our books, these new studies, men and women lost 16 pounds in a month with no exercise, gained 6 to 9% lean muscle mass. No one's ever seen anything like this. I mean, it's almost like an unfair comparison. But we're comparing peer-reviewed human trial studies, okay, to peer-reviewed human trial studies. Let's take in another one. This one in the New England. You can see the title. The New England Journal of Medicine. Remember, this is the new health conversation. And what we're really talking about today is this: why diets are failing us. Okay. Now, what did they do in this study? It was 12 months. One group of people lowered calories, and they compared that to people that did time-restricted eating. What were the real results? After 12 months, the people who were on a low-calorie diet lost in a year 16 pounds. The people that did time-restricted eating in a year, 12.6 pounds. But here's the danger signal right here. Both the time-restricted eating and daily caloric restriction diets led to the loss of lean muscle mass. Every one of these diets, I can show them all. That up to 40% of everything you lose on a diet is your lean muscle mass. One of the most unhealthy things you could ever do. As I said, we wrote about it in all of our books. This is like, I don't know why more people don't understand this. And yet I see the influences even today. Only way to lose weight is a calorie deficit. Nonsense. Because the only thing that matters to your body has nothing to do with calories. It has to do with what's in the calorie, the nutritional density. Okay, so let's talk about how in the world did they get people to safely lose as much weight in a week as 8 weeks of any diet? How are they going to lose as much weight in a month as a year on any of these diets? I just told you in the New England Journal of Medicine study, which was, you can see it here, I think, yeah, there we go, was 12 months, that the weight loss in a year was 16 pounds. Actually, time-restricted eating was worse. It was 12.6. The people here with no exercise, 16 pounds in a month. But instead of losing lean muscle, which is what New England Journal of Medicine found, they gained 6 to 9% lean muscle mass. Now, what in the heck did they do? That's the question that always comes up. So let's take a look at that. The researchers, who, by the way, are the #1 nutritional researchers in the world, we're fortunate enough that they've contributed to our books and shared the research with us, right? So for 38 years, they've been the top people in the world. They've done over 150 trials, studies on every diet you could ever name, okay? The frustration with them was this. Yes, on every diet they looked at, people absolutely lost weight. But in every case, it was up to 40% lean muscle mass. And in every case, people gained back pretty much all the weight they lost, period. What they decided was, okay, here's the flaw. We were having people reduce the amount of food they were ingesting, ignoring that they were also lowering nutrition. That triggered the body to go into starvation mode. They couldn't burn fat, and they actually slowed down their metabolism. That's why they gained everything back. So what the researchers did in these 7 new peer-reviewed studies, they changed it up. They had their people only consume 40% of the food from the grocery store. They actually provided grocery lists. But the other 5 foods, and here's the key why it worked. They found fulfillment companies that had spent the last 25 years going around the world finding foods that had massive amounts of nutrition, regardless of the number of calories, from places like Russia, Mongolia, Manchuria, Tibet in the Himalayas, South America, and New Zealand. So 40% of the food came from the grocery store, 60% of the food came from around the world. Then 2 new approaches. The first one's called protein pacing. Nothing to do with time-restricted eating, nothing to do with eat with you're hungry. No, none of that stuff, right? And essentially what they did, about 40% of the protein people ingested came from domestic sources here. So if it was steak, it was grass-fed, okay? It wasn't hormones, or if it was chicken, it was antibiotic, hormone-free, etc. But the other protein that they used, they found a source. See, the key to a protein is this. It's not the protein itself that matters to you. It's what's inside the protein. Those are the 20 amino acids, one of which, called leucine, is what's responsible for making muscles in our body, okay? Now, they found, well, protein in general. Okay, let's just talk about vegetable and animal proteins. In Europe, they developed a new test where it's true that any protein you ingest, you get all 20 amino acids. But the test in Europe was more specific. What they wanted to find out was, okay, when we ingest a protein from a plant or an animal, what percentage of those 20 amino acids are actually absorbed into the body to make human protein? Well, this makes my vegan friends mad, but I'm just reporting the news, right? In a vegan protein like a pea protein, which is what they looked at, the absorption was only 10% out of 100. 90% was toxic waste. When they looked at all meats, steak, chicken, liver, fish, didn't matter, trout, halibut, was 30% absorption, okay? Well, they found a protein source where the absorption of the 5 foods that came from around the world, they found one that had a 91% absorption of the amino acids. That's why people with no exercise gain 6 to 9% lean muscle mass. And so what they were able to do when they did protein pacing, they were able to give people literally a third as much protein, certainly from a calorie standpoint of view, and yet they got the same benefit of the amino acids. So the body was simply just much more efficient. The other thing they did that you probably find strange, they did something called intermittent nutritional fasting. Not fasting, intermittent nutritional fasting. On those days, no food from the grocery store, just 4 of the 5 foods from around the world. Again, what's the tail of the tape of these published studies? But they're not just published studies, they're peer-reviewed human trials, not on mice, not on rats, not in a petri dish, not a scientific paper. This is as high as you can go in medicine. So what was the result? Men and women lost as much weight in 7 days as 8 weeks of any diet that's ever been studied. They lost as much weight in a month as people lost in a year. I read to you from the New England Journal of Medicine study where when they looked at people lowering calories for a year, it was 16 pounds in a year, and time-restricted eating was only 12.6 pounds in a year, where these people lost that much weight in a month. So you have an incredible opportunity if you choose, okay? If you choose. You can go to our free research site. I'll put it up there again for you right now. Hold on just a second. New health conversation. And it's free to go there. There's nobody there. Look, I don't want you to believe me. I really don't. Okay? Yes, I've been a nutritional researcher for 21 years. I've written 4 best-selling books, which I showed the earlier audience people. I have them right here. Why Diets Are Failing Us, the TDOS Syndrome, TDOS, solutions, and your third brain, all of which what I'm sharing with you today is what we found in these books. And it's our research. It's all original. Okay. But I don't understand why people continue to tell you that the only way to lose weight is a calorie deficit. Nonsense. They're ignoring the most significant thing they miss totally. It has nothing to do with calories. It has to do with what's inside the calorie. And I didn't post it. I'm sorry. I realized I typed it out. So that's a free research site. People are scared. They're skeptical. They think, well, you're going to go there. We're not contacting you if you go there. You can see all the medical proof. There's an interview with the #1 nutritional researcher in the world for 38 years. And if you like what you see only, you can sign up for a free consultation to find out about the protocol. Now, a couple more things. If you do go to the and see, and you like what you see, sign up for the free consultation. You'll have it with not somebody an 800 number. You'll actually have it with someone who's done the protocol, been trained. And if you do decide to move forward, they will coach you for free. And almost sounds too good to be true. The fulfillment companies that supplied the 5 foods during your first 30 days, 100% money back guaranteed, no ifs, ands, whats, buts. They'll even pay return shipping. Now, they're not foolish to do that because it was obviously their 5 foods that were used in the medical studies that produced results that no one on planet Earth has ever seen before. I know you're skeptical. I can see, and for the new people coming on, this is what we're talking about. Why diets are failing us. And with 80% of America overweight and 50% obese, does anybody think that we're doing good? But 50% of Americans, sadly, are pre-diabetic. And the CDC has said 9 out of 10 Americans, actually 92.3% according to them, are metabolic unhealthy with 3 of 5 factors: overweight, high blood pressure, high blood sugar, high cholesterol, high triglycerides. In these studies, in these 7 new studies, all 5 of those came down dramatically in just a month. Inflammation, unheard of, came down 25% in a month. People shrank their visceral fat by 33% in 8 weeks. And this is with no exercise, no sit-ups, no crunches, no Pilates, no anything. This is, the researchers have said, they'll never recommend a traditional diet ever again of any form of counting calories, period. Oh, thank you. Somebody posted it for me, the new health conversations. I don't have to keep doing it. And you'll see there, free consultation. Let me explain to you. People, they actually are putting comments like, how much is the free consultation? It's a trick. What is the trick? You get to go and see everything about this. And then and only then, if you decide, then you can sign up for a free consultation. Look, if we had to sell you or convince you, we don't have enough hours in the day. We let the science do all the talking. Because you know what's cool about science? Unlike me, it has no emotions. It doesn't care. Why have you seen any, with all due respect, with the medical doctors, the chiropractors, the nutritionists, the dietitians, the fitness trainers, the weight loss coaches, have you ever seen any of them hold up a shred of medical evidence? I see them giving you opinions, and you may not like what we're showing you. And let's go to another big study that is just, this is really telling, okay? This was done, this one, there it is, in the Journal of the American Medical Association, one of the big medical journals in the world. And what they did in this study, they looked at 48 different studies, 7,286 people. And what were they looking at? Well, they looked at all the major diets. They named them in the study. It's actually titled Weight Loss Among Named Diet Programs. So paleo, keto, Mediterranean, time-restricted eating. I mean, you name it. They went through it. 12 months. When they looked at the most amount of weight loss on whatever diet to the least amount of weight loss in a year, the only difference was 10 ounces in a year. And the weight loss in a year, again, was about 16 pounds, and up to 40% of what people lost was their lean muscle mass. This is 41 different studies, 7,200 on pretty much every diet out there. And yet we keep being told, and I believe it's, I think they're good intentions. They're telling you the wrong thing. They're not telling you you can't have 80% of America overweight and 50% obese if diets were working. It's a national disaster. The big scientists feel the biggest threat to mankind in history ever is obesity. I mean, but you would think, okay, well, it's just the United States, all right? Well, here's a big study from the Lancet out of England, the number one journal, medical journal in the world. Listen to this. They said now in the study, which was just published in March of 2024, so just about 5 months ago. 3 months, 5 months ago. Anyway, they now said over 1 billion people worldwide are clinically obese, making obesity the leading form of malnutrition worldwide. What? Obesity is the leading form of malnutrition? They go on to say and explain it. Most people are not aware that obesity and being underweight are both forms of malnutrition, because in both cases, the people are not getting the right amounts of vitamins, minerals, nutrients, and the types of calories that are required to be healthy. Well, hello, that's exactly what they did in these peer-reviewed studies. They went around the world to find foods that were rich in vitamins, minerals, nutrients, and the types of calories that make us healthy. I mean, it sounds simple. It was really complicated. It took them a long time. But you understand they've done 38 years of analyzing the very diets you're on, or maybe thinking about being on. They do not. Why are diets failing us? Because if you rely on a strategy to lower the amount of food you're consuming, food that's already nutritionally challenged for less nutrition, how's it going to turn out? Any weight you're going to lose, or up to 40%, is your lean muscle mass, because your body's in starvation mode. You're giving it less fuel. And these people will tell you, oh, do a 3-day water fast. You're not losing lean muscle. Total nonsense. Complete and utter nonsense. I mean, they keep coming on and they make projections. They give you opinions. But where are the facts? What we wanted to do for everybody was really pretty simple. We wanted to be in a position where we could give you an alternative, not to convince you. That website that you can see there, the New Health Conversation, it's completely free to go there. No one's going to contact you. There's no twisting your arm. It's just you having an opportunity to view the medical proof, get to see the interview with the number one nutritional researcher in the world. Wouldn't you be interested in what he has to say and why he said they'll never recommend a traditional diet ever again? Now, so one last time, I want to go over with you how we started. So my name is Peter Greenlaw. I'm a nutritional researcher for 21 years. I've written 4 best-selling books. I have them all here. And here's the cool thing. I don't want you to buy my books. No. You don't have to buy my books. That website, the New Health Conversation, is the culmination of my 21 years of research. Only reason I'm showing you the books is you understand I'm not just some guy making things up. None of this is my opinion. So the first one, why diets are failing us. Then the TDOS syndrome, which every person in the world has, toxicity driven by nutritional deficiency, being overweight and stressed. And then TDOS solutions, which is the solution to it, which is now, backed up by peer-reviewed human trial studies. And your third brain, which is not a trick title, okay? You have an incredible opportunity, really, to completely sort of hit the reset button. You get to have a do-over. And the thing that people are still so locked in on is the only way to lose weight is to lower calories, calorie deficit. It wears me out. It's not working. If it was working, how would you have 80% of America overweight and 50% of those people obese? So I would encourage you one last time. You can at any point go to the New Health Conversation. You can see it there. Excuse me. And take some time. It's really important for you. Go through everything that's there. It's 21 years of research condensed into, a couple pages, but videos explaining it. Not so you don't have to read all the books and do all that kind of stuff, right? But are you really serious about losing weight? Are you so locked into the dogma that the only way to lose weight is to lower calories? Really? No, it's not. As a matter of fact, when we have people like, from Harvard Medical School saying things like, stop counting. I'll bring it up here for you in a moment. Here it is. Again, so you don't think I'm making it up. Can you see that up in the corner? Harvard Medical School. The idea of a calorie in and a calorie out when it comes to weight loss is not only antiquated, it's just wrong, says Fatima Stanford, obesity specialist at Harvard Medical School. Drop the calories notion, says Stanford. It's time to take a different approach by putting the emphasis on what's in the calorie, not how many calories you're counting. This isn't my opinion. This is one of the top obesity experts in the world. They're reversing their course, saying that they were wrong, basically. That counting calories is not a strategy to lose weight, especially long term. And the thing is, it's just, and I don't think it's on purpose. I think the people that you're seeing online, on social media, I think they're telling you what they believe. But I just find it interesting. They never show you any medical proof for what they're claiming. 3 recipes to lose weight. Way to cut 300 calories. The only way to lose weight is to lower calories. Nonsense. Completely debunked. And these 7 peer-reviewed studies, what I didn't tell you was in these 7 studies where men and women lost as much weight in a week as 8 weeks of any diet, lost as much weight in a month as people in a year on diets, lost no muscle and no water weight, and they consumed more calories than the diets they compared this to. And it's not a diet. I have over here, actually, I have it. Here it is. This is a study that they compared. So they compared, by the way, this protocol is called R2M. I'll go through it one last time before I close out tonight. R2M. They compared it to this, the Mediterranean diet. The number 1 voted diet 7 years in a row in U.S. News and World Report. We'll listen to the results of Mediterranean diet. After 8 months, people lost 10.2 pounds after 8 months. And they said right here about 40% of the weight loss was lean muscle. Well, wait a minute. They compared it, and the people in these studies consume more calories than the people in the Mediterranean diet. These people, they lost 16 pounds in a month. It took people on the Mediterranean diet 8 months to lose 10 pounds. Aren't you at least curious? A little bit? And the thing that's so amazing is that all of you have a free pass, the New Health. This is our research site. This site represents my 21 years of research. These are 4 of the best-selling books I wrote. You know what? I don't want you to buy any of my books. This isn't a trick to get you to buy my books. We're not hiding anything from you. You don't have to pay any money to find out. On that research site, you will see, I didn't post it, sorry. Okay, there you go. On that research site, you'll see the free information. It's free. It's not a gimmick. You're not going to go there and, we're going to twist your arm. We don't need to do that. We have research. We have real science behind what we're doing. We're not making anything up. You have an unbelievable opportunity. If you just suspend your opinions for just a little bit and go to that website, as skeptical as you might be. Because what if, I'm not making up anything. I mean, that's the thing. What's so cool about this? It's all based on peer-reviewed human trial studies. And for those of you who don't understand, a peer-reviewed human trial study, there's nothing higher you can do in medicine than peer-reviewed human trial studies. Period. End of the story. So I hope you will, take me up on the offer to go to the New Health Conversation, see what's there. And then if you want, sign up for a free, and I mean free consultation. No tricks, no gimmicks. It's up to you. You can continue on, thinking that lowering calories is the way to lose weight. It's not. I showed you the medical evidence. When we got Harvard Medical School, we got Journal of American Medical Association, we got article after article where they're saying, basically why you shouldn't count calories. Counting calories is ridiculous. Stop counting calories. I mean, maybe it's just me, but I mean, at some point we have to sort of say, wait a minute. Maybe we need to rethink things with 80% of America overweight and 50% are obese. I mean, do any of you really think that's working? Huh? Well, anyway. So one last time before we close out. Okay, so what we were talking about, what we have been talking about all this podcast is why diets are failing us, because they are. And the conventional diet of lowering calories has been completely debunked. These 7 new peer-reviewed human trial studies which have been published in the last year in some of the biggest medical journals in the world, the Obesity Journal, Nutrition Journal, Frontiers in Nutrition, Frontiers in Physiology, Nutrients, International Journal of Environmental Research and Public Health, and Nature Communications, the number 1 journal in the world for weight loss and health. Number 1. So this is Overwhelming evidence. And what did they do? People lost as much weight in a week as 8 weeks of any diet, lost as much weight in a month as a year in any diet, and gained, didn't lose any water, and gained 6 to 9% lean muscle mass. How did they do it? 4 things. 1, the researchers who had done 150 studies of every diet out there over the past 38 years. Here were the rules. 1, no one's allowed to exercise because they didn't want exercise to be an outlier. And then the second thing they did, they developed a grocery list where 40% of the food came from the regular grocery store. 60% of the food literally came 5 foods from around the world, from everywhere. As far away as Russia, Mongolia, Manchuria, Tibet and the Himalayas, South America, New Zealand, all right? Then they had 2 completely new ways of consuming food. One was called protein pacing. The short version is they had protein, specific amounts at specific times over like 12 or 14 hours. So this whole thing about time-restricted eating or any of that stuff out the window, or just eat when you're hungry, okay? Then the other thing they did that was really dramatic was intermittent nutritional fasting, not fasting, okay? Be clear, not time-restricted eating. And the medical proof is there. But the other thing, for some of the new people you didn't even know, it also removed chemicals from the body, from the fat cells, through blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis. So it's really up to you what you want to do. You can see there the free research website, the New Health Conversation. For the new people coming on, this is what we've been discussing in this podcast. Why diets are failing us? Because they are. If you're going on any diet by lowering calories, there's overwhelming evidence, even from people at like Harvard Medical School, saying stop counting calories. The idea is not only antiquated, it's obsolete. I mean, it's wrong. And yet we continue to follow that mantra that the only way to lose weight is to lower calories. No, it's not. So I hope you will take me up on the offer. You can go to the New Health Conversation. Not only can you see the medical evidence there, but there's an interview with the #1 nutritional researcher in the world. Understand, these researchers, they don't sell anything. They have no dog in this hunt. But how excited would you be if you could lose as much weight in a week as in 8 weeks of a diet and gain and not lose lean muscle mass? How much? And then lower blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol, triglycerides, all in 30 days. They lowered inflammation by 25% in a month and shrank their visceral, the belly fat, by 33% in 8 weeks. No one's ever seen anything like this. So again, I would encourage you to go to that research site, the New Health Conversation. If you like what you see, sign up for a free consultation. By the way, you get a free coach in the first 30 days, not from me, but from the people who supplied the fulfillment companies who supplied the 5 foods from around the world to the studies, 100% money back guarantee. No questions asked. And it doesn't matter. You don't have to have a reason. They'll even pay return shipping. So what do you really have to lose? Giving up your skepticism, giving up your opinion, it's not going to cost you anything to go there. And if you go to that site, we're not going to contact you. There's no way. We don't need to. Okay? You either believe in science or you don't. It's really pretty that simple. So anyway, I'm gonna sign off now. I hope all of you are going to have a great weekend, depending on what part of the country you're in. I hope you have good weather. And I'm doing anywhere from 3 to 4 of these lives a day. So I will be podcasting tomorrow and on Sunday. If you have any of your friends or anybody that maybe wants to, learn more or whatever, or go to my TikTok site and like it, or any of my other social media outlets. And looking forward to sharing this knowledge with more and more people. So I want to wish everybody a good night. Have a great day. And away we go.